Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Thursday, December 8th, 2022. The story of all stories today is the release of Brittney Griner and the prisoner swap. Reportedly, she was exchanged for an arms dealer, and the one person left out of the deal was Paul Whelan, who's disappointed. And in light of the woman being released, who's of a darker complexion, it reminds that Biden said his VP nominee was going to be a black woman. It was the only criteria he was looking for. Of course, that was done by the numbers. And in the time he's been president, we also got the first black female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was sworn in right after the Jackson-Dobbs decision, where they told you the whole week prior that black women would be the most impacted. And then, of course, Jackson, Mississippi was underwater shortly after on Michael Jackson's birthday. But now between the white male and the black woman gets released. And again, I see that as a theme that a lot of people might overlook. But the other big piece here is just that tired racial theme. And in light of this being connected to war, we'll also talk about Jackie Robinson, who was a member of the Black Panthers Tank Brigade, who wore 42, a lot like Brittney Griner, number 42 for the Phoenix Mercury. And today, the date of her release, December 8th, 22, it's a date with 42 numerology. Number stamped all over Black history. And not only is it a date with 42 numerology, of course, from her February 17th detainment, which was Michael Jordan's birthday, but from her detainment to today is exactly 42 weeks later. And again, things having gematria 42. Pretty much all of Black history. February equals 42. Slavery equals 42. The N-word's 42. Tuskegee equals 42, which has to do with the syphilis experiment, as well as the Tuskegee Airmen. And let's not forget that recently they put out this America the Beautiful quarter in tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen. And if you have one of these, take a good look at it. Make it as big as possible there. You can see on one plane is 4 and the other is 2. And again, in gematria, Tuskegee equals 42. But the number 42, again, it's stamped all over Black history. The name Jackie equals 42. We recently saw Chadwick Boseman die at age 42. And then when he died, they falsified his age of death as age 43. But you can go back and verify that he actually died at age 42 on the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day, which was also the anniversary of the author of Black Panther's birthday, Jack Kirby. And again, Jackie Robinson was in the Black Panther Tank Brigade, like Chadwick Boseman played the parts of the Black Panther and Jackie Robinson in his film career. But in addition to the number being stamped all over Black history, World War equals 42. So does the word war alone. Brittney Griner's thing is connected to the supposed war taking place between Russia and Ukraine. Russia has gematria 42, as does Freemason, as does Jesuit, as does Arizona, the state she plays basketball in. The name arms dealer, or the title arms dealer, equals 42. She was swapped for the arms dealer today. Shout out to Kayla Decode Talker. She noticed that this phrase they've been using all year in tribute to Brittney Griner, we are BG42. That phrase, we are BG, has gematria of 128. A lot like today's date, December 8th, 12/8. Brittney Griner freed from Russian captivity in exchange for arms dealer. Again, if you're new here, gematria, simple practice of coding numbers into words. It's based on the alphabetic order, also the alphabetic order with numerology, as well as the reverse alphabetic order and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Again, you study these ciphers, you see the way this number's been coded all over history. Huxtable equals 42. If you know the Cosby Show, that was the name of the family. Huxtable. Cosby Show equals 42. Martin equals 42. In the sitcom Martin, he lives in apartment number 42. Martin Luther King Jr., not his birth name, the name given to him, Martin. Malcolm X, not his birth name, the name given to him, Malcolm X 42. So on and so forth. This number all over Black history. We've talked about it countless times, and we've been talking about it with Brittney Griner all year because there's been plenty of Brittney Griner updates on 42 date numerology talking about her jersey number 42, and now boom, 42 weeks after the detainment, the release. And this fits in with the larger propaganda contrived every single day, predating Russia-Ukraine by a long ways. Sorry, I just heard a weird noise. I don't know what that was. Interesting. If you are new here, just to give you an example of the 4-base ciphers, I just want you to see how Brittney Griner overlaps with Phoenix Mercury. You'll find this all throughout the world of sports, how these players are on just the perfect teams. And a lot of them are Manchurians. I mean, how many women are there in the world that are nearly 7 feet tall? And even though I'm not looking at the chat right now, I'm sure already a bunch of people have posted that she's a man. Like it's Austin Powers. I don't know if she's really a man who made the conversion. I don't know. I'm not going to claim things that I can't prove. There are big women in the world. But notice. Well, I got dyslexic, didn't I, writing Mercury, Phoenix. It's still going to have the same gematria. Just for the person who can't stand it, let me write it in the proper order. Phoenix, Mercury. It's not going to change the value of the words. Phoenix, Mercury, Brittney Griner. And again, notice, run the alphabetic order forwards. Brittney Griner is 184. Run the alphabetic order in reverse. Phoenix Mercury is 184. Run the alphabetic order forwards. Phoenix Mercury is 194. Run the alphabetic order in reverse. Brittney Griner is 194. And you can also see using numerology, forwards and backwards, both are 86. With regards to Brittney Griner being 85, notice in the same cipher, Phoenix, Arizona, where she plays is 85. And notice also using the most simple cipher, basketball is 85. Of course, the first March Madness was in 85, where the Catholic school, Villanova, beat the Jesuit school, Georgetown. And if you're new here, it's the same Catholic Church and Jesuits who are all behind pretty much all the rituals that go on day after day, including the entire Russia-Ukraine saga, as we talked about, as we predicted what day Russia-Ukraine would break out, how we suspected it to be February 22nd before it rolled around, what was special about that date, how it was synced up with the Pope and the Superior General. And keep in mind, this is all happening while the Pope is 85 years old, who will soon turn 86 on December 17th, Saturnalia. But yeah, I mean, from Jackie Robinson and his World War connection to Brittney Griner and the latest Russia-Ukraine, which a lot of people are speculating could be what eventually turns into World War III, remains to be seen. But again, like we've been saying the whole time, is Brittney Griner even in a Russian prison? You guys might recall earlier this year, there was one of the days where Brittney Griner was in the news, and she was supposedly being detained by Russian guards, but the guards next to her had Ukrainian patches on, and we were going, well, wait a minute. I thought she was in Russia. Those guards have Ukrainian patches. So, again, pretty sure that this entire thing is a psychological operation. Pretty sure Brittney Griner never did a day in any Russian gulag. And again, there's been a lot of posts, but we did document it earlier this year where she was standing next to men who had Ukrainian patches on. So unless the Russian guards were in support of Ukraine and swapped out their uniform that day, I don't know how she could explain what we saw. And you know, I don't think it was a mistake that they did that day in the news. I think that's what the news sometimes does to see if people are even paying attention. So, again, I mean, if you're new here, stick around, pay attention, and you will see day after day the way the news unfolds by the same old numbers. And speaking of same old numbers, another top headline today is in Philadelphia. They've discovered who a boy was that was found dead in a box 65 years ago. Well, in our community, we call Philadelphia the 65 city, and that's because in Gematria and the most pure cipher, Philadelphia equals 65. And it was established on October 27th, 1681, the day leaving 65 days left in the year. And Philadelphia is important in Revelation, letter written to the Church of Philadelphia. Christianity is also 65. Notice CNN was nice enough to post at 2:23 p.m. Another number we talk about with Philadelphia. Philadelphia, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 223. And in the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia, the synagogue of Satan is referenced. And the synagogue of Satan is 223. So, same old, same old. Same number, same city. You have no idea how often in rig sports this number comes up. For example, the Philadelphia Phillies, who we thought would be in the World Series in spring training. Nice little payout there. They clinched their first playoff berth in a while in the new manager's 65th win of the season. And not by accident, all part of the script. Sports are scripted, news is scripted, same code day in and day out. We've been identifying Philadelphia as the 65 city for going on a decade. And a headline like this just further proves the point. Hey, honestly, there's probably a whole lot more to this story, but I don't even want to get any deeper with it. It's just, we've identified Philadelphia as the 65 city for a long time. Headline like this, how could you ever argue? And also curious in the news, if anybody wants to do some more thinking on this, CNN, let's see if CNN still has up the story. They do. A year only lasts 17.5 hours on the hell planet. And what stood out about this story is the scientific name for the planet. The hell planet. The scientists call it 55 Cancri, or Cancri, however they pronounce it. The word Satan has that gematria of 55. And for people familiar with Marilyn Manson, I just want to bring up this reference again as well. Marilyn Manson, Say 10. He has this song called Say 10, spelled like this, Say, S-A-Y, number 10. And the lyrics, the chorus, says, you say God, and I say 10. And notice, when you write out God, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, you have gematria 55 and 10. And again, 55 is the 10th triangular number, which means if you add 1 through 10 together, it equals 55. And 55 is also the 10th Fibonacci number. And if you don't know the Fibonacci sequence, look it up. It's very simple, but 55 is the 10th number in the sequence. But notice Satan. Satan, 55 forwards, and 10 when you use numerology. So isn't it interesting that the hell planet has the number 55 associated with it? And I mean, what's it about? I'm sure there's something a lot deeper doing that today in December. Oh, and by the way, I mean, that's also part of it, right? December has that gematria of 55. And, Santa's just a reshuffling of Satan. So, and if you guys didn't know, 1225. 1225 is the square root, or has a square root of 35. So Santa on 1225. Are you sure you're celebrating the birthday of Jesus? The lake of fire in the sky. The sun's birthday has always been on 1225. The Catholic Church has celebrated the sun's birthday on 1225 for longer than they've celebrated the Son of God's birthday on 1225. And again, his name used to be Jesus, which is also 35. Like Catholic, like Holy See, like how the I is the Son of God. And again, that Jesuit logo, you guys, it all goes back to the Jesuits. Iesous Hominum Salvator, 274. The Roman Catholic Church has celebrated the sun's birthday on 1225 since 274 AD. Run it in reverse. Iesous Hominum Salvator, 266. The first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, the 266th, who spoke in D.C. on the 266th day of the year, who's currently 85 years old. And then the 122 goes with Pope Francis. Again, the Jesuits are from France. But yeah, it's nice to see everyone in the gematria community, getting the information out on this video. It's nice to see the work spreading, more people helping get the information out there. And yeah, it's just funny how the same patterns just persist day after day after day. And so many of us, we just can't get our friends and family to see it. Every time you show them, they just got like a blank stare. Got to be a coincidence. Got to be another coincidence. My elementary school teacher would have told this to me if it was important. My middle school teacher would have told me. My high school teacher, my college professor, my president, my nightly news anchor. And that's just it right there. People trusted the wrong people their whole life. They put all their trust in the authority. They only respect the opinions of the authority. And they don't realize how compromised the authority is. But yeah, I guarantee you, from the day the detainment story started to this, it was all planned to end on this day. We are BG. Ends on 12/8. Hey, by the way, we got a person in the community who makes silent gematria videos, and he looked more into the Simon Dan thing, and I want you guys to get a load of this. I want you to see this. Dan Barrett also had some additional observations that even go further with this, but it looks like Simon Dan has handlers. Watch this video. If you guys recall, when Simon Dan first attacked me, he did attack me over the number 218. Notice what this person caught on to. Check this out. It's a silent video, so you just got to pay attention. In Hebrew gematria, the word moon equals 218. And again, today's February 18th. And of course, in history, we know about NASA's moon landing by the numbers. Or if you don't know that's by the numbers, we'll revisit that.
What's really funny is that if I go to a Hebrew gematria calculator, I get the value of 230, not 218.
He doesn't address this point, you guys, but again, Simon Dan's just a manipulative twat. In Hebrew, they actually use 14 ciphers for decoding the Bible. So again, there are multiple values, but moon in 218 is a strong one. And don't forget, Holy Roman Empire also equals 218, and it supposedly ended on August 6th in history, the 218th day of the year. There's a lot to that 218 number, but for this guy to go out and do this, it's just another dishonest, deceptive, moronic thing to do. And this guy is truly a moron. All right, but let's continue this video, because watch what he points out about 218. That's by the numbers. We'll revisit that.
What's really funny is that if I go to a Hebrew gematria calculator,
that's by the numbers. We'll revisit that.
What's really funny is that if I go to a Hebrew gematria calculator,
by the numbers. We'll revisit that.
What's really funny is that if I go to a Hebrew gematria,
we'll revisit that.
What's really funny?
We'll revisit that.
What's really funny?
By the way, I don't think this is necessary to show this over and over. Dude, this kind of stuff when people do something this many times, it actually drives me nuts too, just watching this. It's like, okay, I didn't need it 50 times. I got the point. But also doing things in the right order. He's about to make a lot stronger point about 218 in this transition. I probably would have saved this for the last point and maybe not even made this point. Dan Barrett also has a really long comment about 218 and what this man's been doing. So I would always encourage people when you make your videos, start with your strongest piece of information and just keep building. And, you know, a point like this, I mean, this part could be coincidental, honestly. but put your strongest facts forward. And also, don't drive the viewer nuts by treating them like they're a retard and showing the same thing 50 times over. Anyway, let's continue. By the way, now on the Gematria calculator, Derek has changed the title from Jewish Gematria to Latin Gematria. And this is something Derek likes to do. He likes to change the names of ciphers. And recently he even changed the way the number input works. I don't know why Derek is always changing the names of ciphers that he found that existed before him. I do appreciate that he made the calculator, but I think doing all of this and it's not helping the research, and it's just adding confusion. So I really wish Derek would stop with renaming things what he thinks they should be called. Again, the cipher existed before any of us came around. It was Jewish Gematria. Calling it Latin Gematria is just making things more confusing. But it is the same cipher as Jewish. And then Dan Barrett, bear with me 1 minute while I get Dan Barrett's comment, because Dan Barrett found just how 218 what he's been doing is. And again, this number is important to the Holy Roman Empire, which is alive and well within the Catholic Church. And again, we know who runs these big social media platforms, the Jesuits who serve the Holy Roman Empire, and we know that they prop up their chosen agents. I don't think Simon Dan is aware of any of this. I mean, he could be, but the guy seems like a dunce. So I don't think it is him that is doing this, but hold on. I got to find this comment from Dan Barrett. If you guys don't know Dan Barrett, that's another channel to follow. Dan Barrett's got a brilliant mind, and he's been at this the longest after yours truly. And okay, here, I got his comment up here. Let me make it bigger. So Dan Barrett writes, the first video he made about you, that's Simon Dan, was on the 88th day of 2022. This was also 8 months and 8 days after your birthday. Now he makes another video a span of 8 months and 8 days later. The Artemis 1 launch was originally set for 8/29. Well, 8/29 is 153 days after his first video. Simon Dan equals 153. His first video was making fun of your video on Perseverance landing on 2/18. 2/18 to your birthday is 153 days. Your birthday is the day Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. And as I've been saying for years now that the Francis Bacon ciphers are legit, your birthday is also 113 days after his original video. Moon equals 113 in Francis Bacon. Simon Dan equals 218 in Jewish. The Hebrew calendar synced to the moon. Moon is 218 using the Hebrew letter cipher. He made another video on 5/3 saying that he would debate you. Well, and again, he didn't. He ran away. Well, 5/3 is 2 months and 18 days before your birthday and 218 days after the Jesuit anniversary. 5/3 is also a span of 218 days before the video he made today. Artemis 1 was supposed to launch on 8/29. Well, it didn't launch until 11/16, which is 2 months and 18 days later, the 53rd anniversary of the moon landing. The date 5/3 is also 3/5. It was 35 days after his first video, and debate equals 35. So, yeah, Dan Barrett's always got really interesting observations, but all that 218 is super suspect. And it did seem weird. It's like, why would you wait? All of his videos have been weird. It's like, why would you respond to this video I made on this date all this time later? So there does seem to be ritualism to it. And, you know, in Simon Dan's latest video, he did acknowledge the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Notice how Simon Dan, again, he has the 33 in the same cipher as Masonry, Order, Secrecy, Federal. But he also has 57, 78, 165 in his name, like Scottish Rite. And again, they have everything to do with the space program, as we just recently talked about. So, for all you guys who are Donald Trump fans, again, Scottish Rite and the Jesuits run DC. Trump's a Jesuit and a Mason. Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year, and where Scottish Rite's 159, so is Donald Trump. So, again, you got to be in the club if you want to be in the Oval Office. But yeah, just some additional thoughts there, and do appreciate all the different people doing the research. So, yeah, Amy, I was showing that post on your website. I saw that. Okay. Shout out to Chase. Chase says, can you cover the FedEx murder in Texas? Woo. $2 to cover the FedEx murder. You got it. Let's see. Okay. Well, first of all, just so people know, FedEx equals 44, like kill, like execution, like shooting. We've seen a number of FedEx mass shootings over the years at FedEx plants. FedEx contractors face scrutiny after kidnapping murder of 7-year-old Athena Strand. FedEx driver accused of killing Athena Strand. Was delivering her Christmas gift. Okay, so this news just broke, huh? Okay, so we're 17 days before Christmas, right? The word kill, when you use numerology, 17. When you don't, it's 44 like FedEx. Here, let's type in FedEx real quick. FedEx 44, kill 44, 17. So we're 17 days before Christmas. 17's the 7th prime number. We have a 7-year-old girl. Okay, let's see. The FedEx driver accused of abducting and murdering 7-year-old Athena Strand was dropping off her Christmas present. Okay. Want to put the camera back on so people don't say the AI took over. Dropping off her Christmas present a set of Barbie dolls called the You Can Be Anything collection. Is that the new transgender collection? Let's just see. Athena Strand. Oh, well, what do you know? Athena Strand 44, like FedEx, like kill, like execution, like I was just saying, like shooting. I mean, this is how it always is, you guys. That's why, shout out to Sarah Sutherland. I appreciate the super chat, Sarah. But yeah, I mean, I was just making this point, right? I didn't know what the Gematria Athena Strand was going to be, but I'm not surprised. Notice how her name is also 73 and 199. Notice sacrifice is 73 and 46. 199 is the 46th prime. Kind of like Tom Brady was the 199th pick of the draft out of Michigan, which is 46, and Tom Brady's 46. So her name equals kill and sacrifice in terms of Gematria, and again, fits right in with FedEx. And I honestly don't know what the Gematria Barbie dolls is, so let's also just check that. Barbie dolls, slightly off, but Barbie doll, if it was singular, and in some stories I wouldn't be surprised if it is just described as a singular Barbie doll, but Barbie doll alone is 44 for the record. It's also 64 like kill. Doesn't mean Barbie doll's going to kill you, but they do put these stories together by the numbers. And You Can Be Anything collection. I have a feeling this is the new transgender thing. I got to look it up, you guys. What is Barbie You Can Be Anything? The Barbie You Can Be Anything series is a digital series from 2021. It features female role models, activities, and performance with the aim of inspiring girls. The teaser video was uploaded to YouTube on February 24th, 2021. The series began on March 6th. Well, maybe it's different. Okay, maybe it's not the transgender one. Okay. You got to look more carefully at the story. It's possible those numbers fit in, but so far I identify the 44 theme. Tanner Lynn Horner allegedly dropped off the box containing 6 Barbies of different races and statures when he nabbed Athena from her father's home in Paradise, Texas on November 30th. Just thinking about that date numerology. So remember November 30th, you guys, we saw a lot of 83 in the news that day because that day had 83 date numerology. If you're new here, the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. It was the first day this year that did have 83 numerology. We'll have 83 date numerology again this year on 12/29. They'll be the only 2 days this year with 83 date numerology. Or wait, hold on. No, I take it back. Halloween this year also had 83 date numerology. So there were 3 days this year that had 83 date numerology. Okay, so on the 83 date numerology is the day that this murder story began. The killer is Tanner Lynn Horner. I don't make a connection with his name right now in the story. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's just sometimes you got to dig a little bit deeper and lay out all of the information. Paradise, Texas. Let's see if that fits in. Oh, well, Paradise, Texas. There you go. 83, like we were just saying, like murder's 83, like the 83 date numerology. Murder by Numbers, the song, came out in 83. Matlin Gandy is the mom's name. Take a look at that too. Her name's got the 62 like sacrifice, 145 like Catholic, 55 like Satan, like December. Athena was robbed of the opportunity to grow up to be anything she wanted to be. Wait a minute. Doesn't that seem like a weird quote to have in there in light of the detail about the you can be anything doll? You can be anything doll is what he was delivering. And then Athena was robbed of the opportunity to grow up to be anything she wanted to be. And this present ordered out of innocence and love is one she will never receive, Gandy said, adding that it was the first time she was seeing the gift the family had been looking forward to watching her daughter opening Christmas morning. Athena's favorite holiday was Christmas, as it is for many children everywhere. The joy Athena gave her family and the joy she felt on Christmas is something we will never feel with her again. They meant to say her, but it says here. Athena was found dead 2 days after she was reported missing from her home in Paradise, approximately 40 miles northwest of Fort Worth, by her stepmother. Horner confessed to the crime, police said, and led authorities to the young girl's body approximately 10 miles from the home. The 31-year-old FedEx driver did not know the family. Keep in mind, November 30th was 25 days before Christmas, which falls on the 25th, and death equals 25. The thing that I find symbolic in this story is just like bringing the toy into the home, right, resulted in the death of the child. And the thing that I see that's symbolic about that is just, I really do think that one of the things that we do to torture ourselves is just put so much focus on materialism, and it really is this holiday, Christmas, that really establishes that. And, you know, my sister doesn't watch my channel, but none of her children are very happy. And I mean, they've had the world. I mean, they've traveled all over the world multiple times For Christmas, growing up, they probably all got around, and there's 4 of them. I'd say on average, they probably all got between $3,000 and $5,000 worth of gifts per Christmas each for each child, like really fancy stuff every Christmas. My sister married into wealth, and I would just observe and watch because like they'd still be disappointed. They'd get jealous over what another sibling got. They'd be like slamming their present down in disappointment, and I just think, I mean, look at this. These kids have everything. They travel everywhere, they get everything, and they are just not happy. Police believe she was killed within the very hour she was abducted. The young girl was staying with her father and stepmother in Paradise for the holiday and was expected to return to Gandy's Oklahoma home after the Christmas break. Now, in the numbers I did just see coded a minute ago, some of those numbers do sync up with Oklahoma, like the 76. Now, instead, Athena will be cremated and she will come home in a urn because I'm not anywhere close to being ready to let my baby go, she said. Okay, so another heartbreaking story for the holidays. What's the word Barbie alone? Oh, nice. Barbie is also 44. Okay, so again, just because you have a Barbie, it doesn't mean it's going to kill you. But we just saw that Barbie doll's 44. Athena Strand is 44. FedEx is 44. So, I mean, they really coded 44 all over this. And notice, that was the number I was talking about before we even started to decode. And I can't tell you how often I'm already thinking of a number before I even start to break down the story, and sure enough, it starts popping up. And then I get tired of all the skeptics come along going, well, it's just because it's confirmation bias. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what it is. Of course it's confirmation bias. Again, the number 4 is associated with death for people who don't know. In the Far East, the word 4 is pronounced the same as death. Mandarin, Chinese, Japanese. Gandy dyed her hair hot pink in honor of Athena. Not honor of Barbie, I guess. You know, you think Barbie, you think pink. And, you know, I mean, the other question you have to ask is this story even real? Is the story even real? Picture looks real, right? But for people who don't know, I learned about this website once upon a time from CNN's front page. Thispersondoesnotexist.com. Every time you refresh the page, you get a brand new face that looks totally real, but what they all have in common, every single one, is they are computer-generated images. So none of these people are real. These are all computer-generated images that look lifelike, and I have a feeling that every day you get news stories with faces just like these, names like Athena Strand, and the story isn't even real. It's not even real. So, yeah, and the funny thing is, this was on CNN's front page, you know, over a year ago now. Might have been 2 years ago now, however long I've been showing this. And CNN was making the point of how sometimes a picture pops up like that, and you're like, okay, well, I can tell there's something definitely wrong with that one. But, yeah, CNN's story was about how we live in this day and age where it's just so easy to create deceptive information online. I thought, no kidding, huh? No kidding. So, is Athena Strand a real person? Is this a real story? And in light of all the 44, we are coming up on this month's kill date. It will fall on December 10th. In 2 days, we're going to have the latest kill date, which is Saturday this week. Again, every month the kill date rolls around, and you got a super suspect death, usually with 44 coded on it in all sorts of different ways. And if you are new here, what makes it the kill date is once a month there's a date that has numerology of 44, 64, 28. Sometimes it's 17, but it's always 44 and 64, usually 28, sometimes 17. One month out of the year will always fall on the 17th, and then you'll have all the kill date numbers. It'll be the 17th of the month, and it'll have numerology of 44, 64, 28. But this month it'll be December 10th. And there'll probably be a number of stories like this, plus some celebrities. So the mom dyed her hair like a Barbie box. This happened in Wise County. The three wise men. Just out of curiosity. Wise County. Wise County's got the 46. We were just talking about that, how Athena Strand also had the connection back to that number. So. All right. Thanks for putting $2 in the Gematria Jukebox. Without you, we would have generated... Well, shout out to Sarah Sutherland. She also helped us generate an extra 10, but I do appreciate it. And, yeah, thank you to everyone who does support the work. So far, it's not looking like we're going to hit the goal of getting back up to 6,000 this month. We're down about 500 people since when I made that request, so we're heading the wrong direction. And I know I always joke about retiring and just like trying to do something else with my life, but it does suck that for the last 6 years, just everything's down. Views, everything is down, man. It sucks. You'd think we'd be... and again, all of you guys who don't support and don't try to learn the knowledge more and improve your position, it's just frustrating to me. It's just like, before I go off, I want to say shout out to this person. Here's somebody new in the community who supported the Patreon, listened to what I was saying, and here's his testimonial. Humanity Enslaved 3380. Great work on your Patreon, Zach. I've managed to flip my initial $50 into $2,500 in less than a week. I've been posting the winnings on my story on Instagram, and everyone is on my nuts trying to find out how I'm figuring these games out, like how I've been. Oh, but they didn't give a rat's ass every other time I've posted a clip of you speaking on very important world events. I just got into the betting because F it, why not? But it's irritating to me that no one of my friends lists gave a F about Gematria until they found out they could profit from it. And again, it is sad. It is sad. I mean, it's sad that people don't care more about information, but we live in a world where pretty much money controls everything. So if you show people that you're turning 50 into 2,500, that's going to catch a lot of people's eyeballs. And again, there's a lot of people in this community who've done this many times over in the years they've been here, because this is the power of knowledge. What I'm proving every day is that it's more than just a catchphrase. Knowledge is power. Power is wealth. And yeah, just the fact that so few people are willing to get into the work, invest the time, support the movement, help achieve the same types of things, it's just like, what is going on? We should be hitting all of our goals and then some. So anyway, shout out to Humanity Enslaved. And Star Rose, I don't really understand your neither of your comments really make any sense. It's not it's not lucky what he did. It's that he's paying attention, he's using the knowledge, and instead of writing, I wish I won that good information, Zach, I mean, I don't know why you have to wish. It's not a wish away. It's get behind the movement away. You know, it's put the time in away. There's nothing about wishing. Okay. Okay, we gotta understand the meaning of words. You don't have to wish for things that are right there. But yeah, anyway, thank you to the people who do support the work, and we'll leave it there for now. All right, hold on. Check one more thing. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it there. Do I have a P.O. box? It's been posted in the description of every video for the last 3 years. It's been posted at the top of my website for pretty much the whole time the website's been there. Because, man, it's just like, what? How do you guys, I mean, seriously, like, how do you not know these things? How do you not know that the information that's posted in the description of every video? I understand why I turn so many people who follow my channel against me, because they're like, Zach, why do you have to be so rude about everything? But it's like, do I have a P.O. box? I mean, it's been posted in the same spot for 3 years. My God. Do I have a P.O. box? Okay. All right, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Until next time.